A warm welcome to you all joined in today. On behalf of Green Tree Global, I'd like to welcome you to the webinar on the Introduction to Energy Simulation and Analysis. My name is Donna and I will be your host for this webinar. A few instructions before we begin. Firstly, please note that you have joined in via audio so you can clearly hear the webinar. Secondly, a humble request to please switch off your video and keep your mic on audio muted through the session. Thirdly, if in case you have any queries during the webinar, request to please submit your questions via the Q&A chat box that is there on the Zoom. Now, firstly, as we all know that we are going through a pandemic, which has put a lot of strain on our personal and professional lives, I do hope you all are safe and taking the necessary precautions. With regards to our webinar will help you learn about energy simulations directly from our experienced leadership team. Additionally, it will give you an approach on the new age concepts of designs and case studies for deeper insights. The webinar will be divided into 4 parts. Gerard, if you can move to the next slide, please. Yes. So as you can see, there is an introduction to the GT Academy, an overview of the course, the introduction to energy simulation and analysis, and lastly, a dedicated section for questions. Prior to beginning the webinar, I would like to give you the highlights of Green Tree Global and the work we do. Gerard, if you can move to the next screen, please. Our company was started in 2009, and over the years, we have provided services in 4 major verticals. Firstly, advisory services in energy efficiency in the use of renewable energy, CSR activities, and various others. Secondly, sustainable design and implementation, which includes building certifications, audits, EFCOs, and others. Thirdly, products and solutions, which provide an energy management solution for both residential and commercial products. And fourth, skill development, providing customized training programs for students as well as professionals. As a skill enhancement project, Green Tree Global has launched the Green Tree Academy. In order to explain a bit more about the GT Academy, I would like to introduce Mr. Dhruv Jain. Mr. Jain is the co-founder and director of Green Tree Global, an experienced energy professional with over 12 years of experience in sustainability consulting and energy industry. I welcome you, Mr. Jain.
So thank you, Donna, for the introduction, and good evening to everyone. I hope you guys are able to hear me.
Yes, sir, you're good to go.
All right. So as we begin this session, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to introduce the concept of GT Academy that we have recently launched here at Green Tree Global. So as Donna mentioned earlier, Green Tree is a company which is into energy efficiency consulting since last 12 years. But GT Academy is a fairly new initiative from our side, which has been started to help students and professionals upskill themselves in this area of sustainability consulting. Can we move to the next slide, please? All right. So what is GT Academy and what are we trying to do here? So from our experience over the last 12 years, what we've observed is sustainability as an area is very new for students and professionals alike. I request everyone to keep themselves muted, please. So sustainability as an area is very new in India. So we don't see a lot of professionals and students who are ready to hit the industry with the skills that are required on day one. So what we thought of is that we've been active in this area since last 12 years. So let's roll out certain educational courses for all the stakeholders, and let's make them industry ready in this area of sustainability, especially given the importance of sustainability as a field, which has increased manyfold over the last couple of years, and even now as we grapple through a pandemic, the importance of such topics, energy efficiency, environmental conservation, even becomes more important. So what we offer you courses in new age technologies, which helps you being ahead of your career, of your peer groups and your colleagues in the similar professions. So we are basically taking up courses which help you specialize in areas which are hitherto kind of unknown or new areas. There's a faculty which we have in-house. It's an expert faculty in-house. All these people that are going to train you on these courses are guys who have been working in this industry for like at least 5 to 10 years. And so the objective is to make sure by the time we complete the courses, you guys have the skills which are required to be able to take up these assignments at your own, at a say practice level first, at a test level first, and then probably as a full-time graduate or a full-time professional level. So the model that we had envisaged before the pandemic had set in was a hybrid model, wherein we had set up certain labs wherein students and professionals, all of them, could get exposure to certain hands-on software simulation exercises. So model has changed a bit. So even now, we'll give you experience on the hands-on software simulation exercises, but this will be carried out remotely. So the instructions for carrying out these simulations, these software setup or the system setup that you'll need will all be discussed later on in this presentation. And lastly, the intent also is to connect the students with the industry who require such resources. So our job is also to make sure people who learn these skill set, at least the ones that we are shortlisting in terms of how they fare after the course evaluation, we connect them with the relevant opportunities in the industry, and we provide them chances to kind of take up such careers in sustainability area in the country. Next slide, please. So how typically it goes is once people register to the courses, they have to attend all lectures. At the end of every lecture, there is a short quiz that we take. So this is basically a revision of the course that has been conducted and to make sure people have understood. And at the end of the course, there is a quick assignment. Mostly it has been an MCQ pattern which we have followed in the past. So people are supposed to, there's a certain cutoff that all of the participants are supposed to clear. After the cutoff is clear, there is the course certificate which is provided to all the people who are participating in the course, and then that's kind of a certification from our end that this guy has successfully learned the contents of the course. Yeah. So with these thoughts, I think I'll not take much time. So I will hand over the session to the presenters who are the other presenters in the team, and they will quickly run you through the contents of the course and what all are we going to cover in the course that we are launching for building energy simulation and analysis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. All right, quickly, I would like to now introduce our next speaker, Mr. Anurag Bajpai. Mr. Bajpai is also a co-founder and director of Green Tree Global. He leads the technical division. His scope covers the technical operations, brand development of the company, and explores innovative best practices for delivery. His professional interests include energy efficiency, grid integration, data analytics, policy implementation at different levels, and energy software tool developments. I welcome you, Mr. Bajpai.
Thank you, Donna. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, yes.
Great. Thank you, Dhruv, for setting up the stage. And today's program, which is the promotional program for energy simulation and analysis. So we are going to discuss about the simulation tools. And before this, we should also discuss about the thermal physics, the concepts behind the simulation tools, and how the simulation tools results can be interpreted, the analysis part. So this is something which we'll be discussing over a period of time. Almost like 4 days have been identified from 16th to 19th. And as we understand about the energy simulation, I'm sure like most of you might be aware about the tools as well. There are several tools which are available at this point of time, which help you in terms of optimizing the energy consumption of the building. There are certain free tools and certain paid tools also. in free tools, Equest is one tool which we'll be using for the demonstration. And the intent of using this tool so that whenever once the work, let's say the program gets over, you can you can continue your practice either at home or at workplace, so that the buying of the new tool cannot be an hassle for you. And there are several paid tools also, like IES, then again in let's say Design Builder, and then the free tool like the simulation engine like Energy Plus. Most of the cases, Design Builder is the front end which uses Energy Plus as a simulation engine. And in this particular tool also, they use the Dotoo simulation engine, which is robust enough in terms of doing all the energy analysis activities for the building, and pretty much like give you the 1 to 5% of the error percentage or accuracy percentage with the error for your results. And based on our experience across the globe for last over a decade of time, we have done from small building to the bigger universities in this particular tool, from conditioned building to mixed mode building to natural ventilated buildings, almost every kind of building that can be modeled in this tool. So the tool itself is robust enough, which can accommodate almost all kinds of analysis, all kinds of buildings type. And the most important thing that the tool is free. I think the advocacy is because of this rationale, so that you can continue with the same tools learning, which will be here in this session. And as Dhruv has mentioned, then there are certain discussions over understanding of building physics, and then tool demonstration. Then there are question and answer also, which will be the part of it. And that is the way we hope that all of you will learn maximum in this session. And we would also like to appreciate or request all of you to participate in the discussions, in the queries, as much as you can ask. I think that will be good for you and good for the sessions as well, so that from your queries, all people can also be benefited. So that is with the hope. I'm concluding my discussion here, and I let the floor open to the next speaker. I'll hand over the session to Donna again. Over to you, Donna.
Thank you, Mr. Bajpai. Okay, so we'll now move to our introduction session. So I'd like to introduce our speaker, Mr. Jayaraj Kalirajan. Mr. Kalirajan is a Senior Energy Associate of the Sustainability Division of Green Tree Building Energy Private Limited. He has more than 5 years of experience in the field and leads the team of electrical, environmental, and mechanical engineers doing green building projects in India. Mr. Kalirajan has a bachelor's in mechanical engineering and a master's in energy engineering. I welcome you, Mr. Kalirajan.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. So, good evening, all. So, starting with the session. So, energy simulation and analysis. So, in this session, we are going to cover two things. One is the theoretical side and the practical side as well. Practical in the sense the software view. So, starting with the theoretical, like we'll be going through the various type of PPTs in which all the factors which are affecting the building energy performances, like whatever may be the envelope properties, the electrical properties, or the HVAC properties. And the second thing is the practical thing. So in which a software, obviously the Equest will be need to install in your systems. And there will be a practical session on the some demo building. So you will be given a building, and we'll be modeling the building as per the real time, and we can analyze the results as well. So main thing is like we are not going to just input the parameters whatever is proposed. We are also going to analyze the results. That is how to optimize the energy performance of a building. Okay. Fine. So starting with the course modules. First lecture will be on the building physics, and second one will be on the envelope and electrical inputs. So envelope means the wall, roof, and the glazing part, and the electrical inputs would be the lighting and other electrical equipments, and the main which is contributing in the building, HVAC system, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and finally the equus simulation. So our course plan, we have planned in such a way like first theoretical session will be there, and then model will be given. In that we have to implement whatever we have discussed in the theory, and then again the next step of envelope properties, discussing on that, and then again we'll be implementing those parameters in the simulation. So like this our course have been planned. So moving on to first session, which is the building physics. So in building physics, basically what we are going to see is like the performance of the building in terms of thermal comfort, and which are the factors which is affecting the occupant. So in this, majorly what we are going to discuss is like the external and the internal factors. So external means the temperature, relative humidity, which are in the outside climate zones. So in terms of this climate zones, for example, if you are taking Indian situation, so there is hot and dry, temperate, colds, and warm and humid. So if and then the composite comes into the picture, in which both the weather season, like it will be including the hot and dry, warm and humid, and cold. So that's how the composite came into the climate zone, and we are living in this composite zone only. So we are going to identify a building in this composite zone, and we are going to do the energy performance. So these are the external factors, and if you see into the internal factors, so this obviously the human occupancy, the lighting load which is inside the building, then the equipment load. So here we'll be using a term LPD, EPD. So we'll just go through one by one. So in building physics, so mainly we are concentrating on the thermal comfort. So obviously ASHRAE comes into this picture. So both naturally ventilated and this forced ventilated building, both will be having an ASHRAE standards. So according to that, we are going to meet the thermal comfort of the building. So this is about the building physics, in which the basic thermodynamics will be covered. So it will be giving a basic idea to proceed with the energy simulation of the building. And next, moving on to envelope and the electrical inputs. So envelope is nothing but the wall, roof, and the glazing properties. And electrical, as I told, is the lighting and the equipment load. So in detail, if you want to discuss on that. So envelope properties. So this property plays a major role in defining the heat load of a building. So if there is a room, so what capacity of cooling is required, so that will be decided based on the envelope of the building. So in which we have to calculate U value for the materials. So in that, first we have to know the thermal properties of the material. So if you take each type of materials, so every material is having their own thermal conductivity value, what they will be telling us the K value. So this K value will remains constant for all the materials. So in this K value, we are going to find out the U value, in which the thickness of the material will play the role in defining the U value. So this thickness will be, we have to vary this thickness to play with the U values. So so in terms of this U value, so it is nothing but the thermal conductance. So U value is the reciprocal of the resistance. So resistance is the calculation which is done in the formula like T by K. T in the sense the thickness, and K in the sense the thermal conductivity. So as you play with the thickness, you can bring down the U value. So this sample calculations we'll look into this deeper in the lecture 2. So apart from this U value calculation, so wall and roof, these both parameters, this both envelope property will be depending on this U value. Plus additionally, there is a glazing property in which there is three property dominates: U value, SHGC, and VLT. So SHGC is nothing but the solar heat gain coefficient, and VLT is the visible light transmittance. So U value, as I told, same as the thermal conductance of the glass, and SHGC is the solar heat gain coefficient in which direct sunlight is coming, and it will be determined in the whole number. And VLT is the how much is the daylight which is entering the glass. So these are the envelope properties which we need to define in the simulation as well to get a better performance in the building. And apart from envelope, we are going to study on the electrical session as well. So if you come to electrical, as I told, there is two things. One is the lighting and equipments. So lighting power density, which is the unit, which is having the unit of watt per meter square. So wattage is how much is the total lighting fixtures fixed in a room, and divided by how much is the area of a room. So this gives the lighting power density. So this will be directly entered in the simulation for calculating the heat load plus the consumption of the lighting. And next, coming to the equipment power density, this one is the how much if, for example, a residential we are going to model, then what would be the watt per meter squared in terms of fan, another fridge, washing machine, what are the equipments. So there is no defined value for these items. That is why the standards we'll be using ASHRAE and ECBC standards, in which they have a standard like every building should have at least 25% of the equipment power density. So this is just a benchmark which they are setting, in which a building will be having a 25% overall if we compare. So that will be equipment load. And additionally, apart from this envelope, after finishing this envelope and equipment density part, so we can work out the optimization of these things. So how to optimize things? So for example, in terms of this lighting power density, so this one will be derived from the lux level which is needed in the room. So as per the NBC norms, so if it's office area, it should be within 200 to 400 lux. So based on that, the lighting fixture will be decided. Then ultimately the lighting power density will be derived. So in that case, ECBC and ASHRAE is also having their own standards, in which for office area, there is a maximum limit in which you can tell 10 watt per meter square. So we can cross verify our LPD value, which is within the limit, and we can proceed with the optimizing the energy performance of that building, whichever we are modeling. So like it's only for the lighting. So in this envelope also we have various options. For example, in roof, so you have calculated a U value based on roof RCC material, for example. So how to optimize this U value? So if you are putting some thickness over that, so it will be having a certain thickness and the thermal conductivity. So that will make our U value to bring down the U value. So this also an optimization options. So this envelope and electrical both will be seeing in detail for the optimization once we start a simulation for this model. Okay, and next one is the HVAC part, which is a very important part in this ECOS simulation. So in this HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So for example, like if a building is there, so conduct energy performance of a building. If suppose a building is without any HVAC system, like let us assume a natural ventilated building, a residential building. So for that, no need of any simulation to just directly multiply the connected load into number of hours. You'll be directly getting the energy consumption. So, but in forced ventilation, in terms of if you're using the AC system, VRF system, or any split system, so in that case, you can't determine how much is the consumption you can expect for a building. So that to work out that, mainly the equation has been derived, and That is the main motive of creating the such type of software to give the end result. So also Equus does not give any optimized performance, like a building has given a, suppose we are given an input for a Equus by modeling some 3 floors or 4 floors building. It will not give an optimized solution like this. Like this, if you put, you will get an output like EPI, like it will be reduced. EPI in the sense energy performance index. It will be derived in the units kilowatt hour per meter squared per year. So ultimately, we are doing everything to bring down the EPI only. So so coming back to that, so if you are not preparing our HVAC properly, ultimately the EPI will be going high. So selection of HVAC is more important to bring down the EPI of a building. Okay, so let's go into more detail. So in this HVAC system, first thing we are going to see types of HVAC system which is available in the market and what practically the people are using in the buildings, like in various type of buildings, hotels, so our discussion would be on the terminology and standards. Terminology in the sense, the basic refrigeration cycles, and what was the COP. COP in the sense the efficiency which you will be telling for a cooling system. Same as for a motor, if you tell efficiency, you will be directly telling 96%. Same like cooling systems also having efficiency like COP. So those terminologies will be discussed and various standards. So standards uh, are like the ASHRAE standards and the ECPC standards. So in these standards, why we have to mention this standards is we have to compare the COP level whichever system has been selected. For example, if you are selecting a split system, tell whatever chiller if you are selecting. So what would be the COP to be maintained that can be taken from the standards. So these standards also we will be discussing in detail in the detailed presentation. Plus additionally, what are the active design strategies available? So active design is the forced HVAC standards. People cannot speak longer. Okay, so active design strategy and system and controls. So this active design strategy, we are going to deal with the split systems and whichever the forced ventilation system, apart from any passive cooling. So passive cooling in the sense by provision of any shadings or any evaporative cooling, apart from the whatever the forced ventilation system like VRF and chiller we are using, those refrigeration cycles and how we are going to model in the Equus. So these things we are going to analyze in the HVAC section. So in this, for example, this HVAC system, if suppose it's been decided, for example, chiller is decided for a building. So in Equus directly, you can't just give a chiller as an input and you can't take the result directly. So we have to model a chiller. So first we have to understand the system. What are the parts available in the chiller? So chiller will be having the compressor separately, and with compressor they evaporate this refrigerant cycle will be different, water cycle will be different, in which air side also will be different. So refrigerant cycle separately has to be modeled. Air side AHU system, which is inside coming inside the building, that also should be modeled separately. And water side, in which the pumps will be used to bring the chilled water from chiller to the AHU. So this cycle also need to be modeled. Plus additionally, if it's a water cooled chiller, then cooling tower has to be modeled. So for modeling this HVAC, we have to set part by part and we have to model it. So that's why it's very important to understand the HVAC system and how we are going to implement in the building. So these things has to be analyzed. Plus additionally, same like other segments, optimizing option for HVAC also we'll be looking into the optimizing options. So in HVAC optimizing options in the sense, different types of systems can be analyzed with the same energy model, and you can change the COP levels, plus additionally the thermal comfort. So that is the main thing, which Equist calls as the unmet hours. So to bring down this unmet hours, we have to have the provision of fresh air supply. So these things will be discussed in detail, and we'll be using the Equist to implement those things, and practically you can see what is the output you can get it from the Equist. Fine. This is about the HVAC system. And moving on to next is the Equist simulation. So here I've just kept in the last lecture, but whenever the detailed lecture is coming, so first we'll be covering the theory and we'll be implementing those things in the Equist software. And finally, again the theory, then again the Equist software. So in this way, the model has been scheduled. And to just have an introduction on Equist simulation, so we'll be giving the downloadable this URL to everybody. So this is a free software only, so in which worldwide acceptable software for the output whichever is generated by the Equist. Plus additionally, in terms of this Equist simulation, this is just a term they will be telling us garbage in, garbage out. So whatever input you are giving to this Equist model, so that is the output you are going to get. It will not be act as other softwares like Climate Consultant, for example, if you take. So if you just enter the weather file, so you can get an optimized value, what are the HVAC system or ventilation system you can use to bring down the thermal comfort. So, but in this Equist, there is no option of any optimized system. Everything is like whatever the input you are giving, that will create a end result in the Equist. So in this, no option for any optimized, like directly you can just click on the optimize button and directly you get the output like, okay, this system is the appropriate system for our building. So in this, there is various segments to be covered in the Equist. So one is wizard mode and second thing is detail mode. These are the two modes which is available in the Equist. So starting with the wizard mode. Wizard mode basically it's a 3D modeling in which a building floor plan will be given. So based on that, you will be creating an SLD. SLD is a single line drawing in which the outer shape of the building will be drawn. So we have to implement that, incorporate in Equist, and you have to model the 2D first. So outer profile of the building and then the interior thermal zones of the building. So both has to be modeled and 3D model has to be generated by giving the height for the building. First it will be in 2D, then we have to give the height and we have to make it into 3D. Then once wizard mode is completed, it has to be next it has to be taken to the detail mode. So in detail mode, maximum the inputs will be the equipment's loads, in which the lighting will be coming and the equipment loads. Plus additionally, the last and final, which is important, HVAC system. So before assigning the HVAC system, the system has to be modeled first. As I told earlier, that if it's chiller, then separate refrigerant cycle, water cycle, air cycle, everything has to be modeled separately, and it has to be implemented in the building, and we have to run the simulation and we have to get the output file. So once we get the output file, you can see various type of outputs. Lighting, what is the conception? I'll just show you a case study also next to this slide. You can see in that various conceptions of lighting, miscellaneous equipment, ventilation, fans, cooling system, heating system. So whatever the system which you want to look into a building to study the energy performance, so all the outputs can be generated, not only yearly, it can be generated hourly as well. So we can see hourly result basis and we can analyze the building energy performance. So most important is analyzing the result. So that also will be done, because just getting output is very simple, but from that output, how we optimize the building energy performance, that is more important, which will be discussed in the detailed slides as well. So in case study, I just want you to show a video. So we'll have just look onto the basic model which we have done in our process. So this is a live model building which been proposed, and the construction is also going on. So this building is an office building. So here we start with the Equist. So this is like a free software, and you can directly download from the Equist website itself. And the main input for this is the one is building floor plans SLD, and second thing is the weather file. So weather file also you can directly get it from the website. So in this weather file, you will get it in .epw file, which is not accepted by the Equist. You have to convert that into .bin, bin format of that weather file, and then we have to incorporate in the Equist. So those systems will be explained in the detailed presentation. So here I'll just tell you what are the steps involved in the Equist, and this is a real-time model in which this is the starting of this Equist. So in which you can see project site, building shell, internal loads, HVAC water side, air side, and the utility analysis. So starting with the project and site.
Jaraj,
yeah.
Right now, what I don't think we are seeing what's on your screen. I am seeing a fifth lecture case study right now. So I'm not looking at the video right now.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, now can you see?
Have you stopped sharing your screen?
Yeah. Now it's coming?
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah. You can just, if you don't mind, just start again, and it will take you. Yeah.
We'll just, so this is a small video in which we have done a case study of a real-time model. So starting with the first slide. So this is the starting when you just click on the Equist, you'll get this screen in which from the left side, project and site, building shell, internal loads, water side HVAC, air side HVAC, and utility and economics. So in this below, you can see building creation wizard. So this is the wizard mode in which 3D model has to be done. And later on, the detail mode will be working on these segments. So starting with the project and site. So this is the box you will be getting. So in which all the floors wise modeling will be done, and what is the AC system which will be assigned in the each floor, that will be given here. So in this you can see floors like up to this was up to 18 floors, I hope. So floor wise has been modeled separately, and the HVAC system has been assigned to the building. And next is 3D modeling. So this is the floor plan which we have got the SLD, and from that SLD we have just made the proper zone, outer zone, and internal thermal zones. So this will be done to make the 3D model. This is also a part of wizard mode. And next is the window placement. So after modeling the floor plan, the windows has to be marked as per the proposed building. So this we have to make it similar to the floor plan which architect has been prepared. So this glazing can be given by clicking onto the outer surfaces of the building. So this is also part of wizard mode. So complete 3D model, which is coming here. So this has been done in the wizard mode. So this is up to the building shell. The project and site details, including the weather and the project informations, plus the building shell, which is the thermal zone and the outer shape and the windows assigning placement, everything will come into the building shell. So basically, if you see this project and site building shell will be coming under the wizard mode. So after this wizard mode is completed, like a 3D model has been completed, then we can proceed with the detail mode, in which sorry, the lighting inputs will be given in the terms of watt per feet square. So also, if suppose watt per feet square, if you can't able to calculate directly, the wattage can be mentioned here. There's also various options available with the eQuest. And you can see one tab lighting schedule. So schedule will be given hourly wise. For 24 hours, we can give a schedule for the every equipment. For example, this lighting, miscellaneous equipments, occupancy, availability, and the AC system when it will be on and off. So I'll just show you the screen in which 24 hours table will be shown. So this is about the equipments in which lighting will be coming, equipments load will be entered, everything. This has to be done based on our calculation or our inputs. So this is regarding to the internal loads, which is the lighting and the equipment. Next is the water side. So as I told here, this building is having 3 chillers, crew chillers. So we have model a chiller and we have model a cooling tower, and this is the zone AHU which is assigned for the each floor. So this is how we will be modeling in the water side, and this one is the boiler for the hot water generator. So this is for basically for heating, and this is for cooling. So this is just a sample which I have shown. So next is the, previously we were seeing the water side HVAC. Next is the air side HVAC. So air side is nothing but the HVA, that AHU unit. AHU in the sense the air handling unit, from where the air will be blown to each thermal zone, in which you can tell thermal zone in the sense the working stations or any conference room, meeting room, or any cabin, whatever may be the thermal zone. So to that, from the AHU, the air will be supplied to the thermal zones. So that has to be modeled separately in the air side. So after completing these all 5 sections, these are the most important 5 sections in which you have to incorporate all the proposed parameters. Utility economics is basically the study on the cost estimation. So if you just enter whatever the price per unit, so automatically it will convert how much is the payback period and what would be the life cycle cost, everything will be calculated in the utility and economics. So basically up to this HVAC system we are going to cover in the detailed presentation. And this is the schedule which I have discussed earlier. So this is, I've just shown you for an occupancy schedule. So from midnight to next 24 hours, all the schedules is being given. So whatever the operating time of our office or mall or retail or hostel building or hospital, whatever may be the building, based on that building type, a schedule will be assigned. Nowadays, the schedules has been defined in the standards as well. ASHRAE and ECPC as having their own schedules. So if we are going for any ECPC models, then those whatever the standards giving given schedule, so that has to be directly implemented in this. So this one I'm just showing only for occupancy. Also, it is available for lighting, miscellaneous, then AC systems and fan operation. Everything will be given separately. And this one is the end result, in which we are going to analyze the how to optimize the energy performance. So starting from this space cooling, ventilation, fan, pumps and auxiliaries, and miscellaneous equipment consumption, then the lighting consumption, and the overall month-wise consumption, and this total would be the year-wise consumption. So from this only basically the EPA will be derived. So EPA, as I told, that's the consumption by the overall building area meter squared. If you just put it, so this is the per year consumption. So directly you can take the EPA of the building. So based on the EPA of the building, you can tell how good building is operating in terms of energy. So I'll just play it again once. So this is just a glimpse. Yeah, fine. So this is about the case study. So I hope you can see the screen, right? I don't know.
Yes, yes, you can see. Go ahead, Jared.
Okay. Okay, fine. So this is the okay. So I've just shown you a real-time project in which all the parameters are incorporated as per the proposed conditions, and I've just shown you how to get the results, which is and how to analyze the results as well. So I just want to make sure one thing in detailed presentation, we'll be going every segment in more detail, and that discussion will be practically implemented in the software as well. So software link, then the building SLD and the building weather file. Okay, fine. So that's all about the introduction session. So thank you. Over to Donna.
Thank you so much, Gerard. Okay, we will quickly move to our next session, which is a discussion based on the queries that have been submitted onto the group chat. All right, if anyone else has more questions, please feel free to send it over and we will try to answer all of them in the given time that we have. If in case we cannot answer your questions, we will make sure that your questions are answered via email or text, all right, whichever platform you prefer. So I'd like to request the panel to please unmute yourself so we can go ahead with the Q&A session.
Hello.
Hello?
Good evening to all of you.
Yes, sir. So have you submitted?
Good evening, ma'am.
Ji, sir, can you please submit your question on the chat, sir? I request to.
Already submitted. Already submitted.
Okay, okay. Sir. In that case, I will ask your questions over, sir.
Can I read out?
No, I will be reading it out, sir, to the panel, whatever has been asked, all right? Okay. So, panel, have you all unmuted yourself? Can I check your audio, please?
Yes, Donna, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, Donna.
Okay. First question is asked by Pratyusha. Can we use parametric softwares as Grasshopper as well for energy modeling? Her question.
Okay. So Pratyusha, you can use the ArchSim as a plugin, and you can use the Rhino or Grasshopper as a combination for the energy modeling as well. Without plugin, you will not be able to use it because the purpose of the Grasshopper is entirely different.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll go to our next question by Bharavi Kumar Singh. She said, can we get some part-time or full-time opportunities in this field? As to use what we are going to learn is also necessary.
All right. So as we mentioned earlier in the presentation, we are going to select a few students from the course, and we, based on the mutual understanding or agreement, so few of you will get to work on some projects with us, maybe in a part-time capacity or as an intern. So that is a possibility that will be worked out. So we typically look at, say, 2 to 3 people per batch to engage them. However, apart from this, we also can refer you to some of the other companies who work in this domain across India. So you can also get in touch with them.
All right. So next question is by Nikhil. What are the most, I'm assuming he meant to say common. So what are the most common energy simulation softwares used by consultancies or organizations for energy modeling?
I think it depends on the compliance requirements from green building authorities or agencies, as well as the local code compliance requirement as well. For example, when we work in Australia or New Zealand, they have a preference of using IES. In case of other countries, let's say UAE, they still have the choice, but they prefer to have IES as a tool. In case of India, US, or in other countries, I think people do prefer Energy Plus and eQuest. Energy Plus cannot be used standalone. It will be always used with Design Builder as a paid tool, which works as an interface to the Design Energy Plus. So I think based on the requirements of the project itself, it can be defined which tool that will be more appropriate for the purpose.
All right. Next question is by Gaurav, and it's a two-parter question. However, the second part has already been answered, which is about internships and jobs. So I'll ask the first part. Do we get any opportunity to work on live projects in this course?
So we will anyways work on a project wherein they will have to build their own models and simulate the energy consumptions. So not exactly a live project per se, but yes, this will be a project that we have completed in the past, and they will be supposed to model the same software and run the same set of tasks. So the output will be compared with the output that has been submitted to the end client.
Okay. The next question is by Vishwas. Is this program recognized by BEE and NPC to prepare for the Energy Auditors Building examination?
So I'll try to answer this question. In the capacity that I can. So the Energy Auditor Building examination details are not yet out. So which means there is no clear-cut understanding with BE and NPC in terms of what is the qualifying criteria. But my assumption is the examination, if you manage to clear it, regardless of how you have managed to learn it, the examination itself certifies you as energy auditor for buildings. So if you do this course with us and you clear the exam, I think that is good enough. And anyways, we also work with BE and NPC for as a registered training partner all over India. So we are the only one to roll out refresher courses for certified energy auditors and managers. We've been doing it for them for the last 2 years. So of course, so BE and NPC both recognize us, but I don't think that's a prerequisite for the energy auditor building examination.
Can I say something? I'm Vishwas Navre. That was my question. Can I interrupt you? My question is, will this course prepare me? I'm an energy auditor. I have attended this refresher course of yours.
I remember, sir.
Vashi, you had conducted.
Right.
2019. My question is very simple. Will this prepare me for that examination? Examination of energy auditor buildings.
Okay, sir. So, Dhruv, can I take the answer?
Sure.
Yeah. So, Vishwasji, energy auditors in buildings is the forthcoming, let's say, the credential from BE. Still, the eligibility criteria, the question and answer certainly have not been disclosed. So there are, but in terms of a specific, let's say, understanding with respect to the code compliances or energy efficiency that energy auditor in buildings talks about, pretty much like we are going to discuss in this course here as well. For example, the ECBC code for which they are formulating the energy auditor in building as a program, ECBC itself recognizes energy simulation and analysis as a part of whole building performance simulation as a compliance requirement. So this course will certainly be helpful in case if you are eyeing for energy auditors in buildings as a credential for yourself.
Yes, I'm definitely eyeing for that because I'm a HVAC professional.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I definitely want to give that exam and I would be interested in this course, whatever 5 modules you have mentioned, so that I will be better prepared to appear for that examination. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we can move to our next question. This is by Sanjay. Does softwares require proficiency in AutoCAD or any related software? I think is regarding to the course, this software.
I think it really doesn't require the proficiency, but I think an average understanding how the AutoCAD works and how we can prepare the SLD single line diagram from the AutoCAD so that the SLD can be imported in the eQuest. That is good enough. So we'll also show how it works while the training sessions as well.
Okay. So Ahmed asks, can you please show the compatibility of eQuest with AutoCAD or other software and its features?
So AutoCAD, I think it is compatible with AutoCAD, and in case if any specific tool which generates the DXF is also acceptable, so that can be imported to the eQuest as well. Jairaj, would you like to add anything in this?
Yeah, the
No,
same as
we
like
can go ahead.
AutoCAD would be compatible for this eQuest, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I respond to.
Okay. Okay. So, Raigode says how to upload a weather file in the software as it is not taking a location in India.
So I think we can demonstrate the same while demonstrating the tool. Is it fine? Because we have almost like 58 cities weather file data available in Indian locations. So, and you can import any of the location in the tool so that you can do the energy analysis compare as per the local climate conditions as well, based on the weather file data input.
Okay. So do let me know how many more questions you can take. All right. It is already 6:30. So if you want me to stop, just let me know. All right. The next question is by Dheeraj. Which HVAC system are we going to simulate?
Jaraj?
Yeah. So in this building, which we have taken for the modeling, so in this we are going to model the chiller system, which seems to be the something complicated to understand. So that would be better if we are modeling the chiller. So other systems also will be understandable if we are going with the chiller itself.
Oh,
Perfect. Jaraj. So I think we are going to use the water cooled chiller system for modeling. Yes.
okay. Next question by Sanjay. Designing of elevation is the scope work of architect. I don't think this is a question. I think it's a statement.
No, certainly, I think it's a scope which comes under the architect only.
Yes.
You're right, Sanjay.
Okay. So Ahmed is asking to please explain the daylight part, how it's shown in the software.
So Ahmed, we are the program is primarily focusing on the energy efficiency, energy simulation tool, and the analysis part of the energy consumption and optimizing it to the best level.
Okay. Vijay Patel asks, what will be the duration of the course?
it's a 4 days, 8 hours course. So 2 days per day, 2 hours per day.
Okay. Does someone want to add something to that? Hello?
Yeah, I mean, you can, you can add it into the chat if you have a further add-on query to it.
Okay. All right, we'll go to the next. Pratyusha asks, how do you design shading devices?
So can I take the question?
Yeah, sure, Jaraj.
So shading device, that's what, as I mentioned in the wizard mode of the eQuest. So directly you can incorporate the overhang options. So in that, what is the depth you would like to give, and what is the width of that shading device? So every options have been given, and we can, if you come in the detailed presentation, I can explain you the step by step. But as to answer your question, yes, we can model, and it will be done in the wizard mode as the overhang option.
Okay, Jara. Syed asks, do we need to install any software as a prerequisite to taking up this training?
Yeah, so as Jaraj has mentioned, we'll share the link of the tool and the weather file link as well, so that you can download them before the training starts. We can also suggest the configuration of your laptop or desktop as well.
Okay. There is a question by Ashwin. Will the course be touching upon integrating energy efficiency in the BIM platform as well?
So BIM platform, no, I don't think so, because in case of BIM, the purpose of BIM tool is certainly different. In case of this tool, this is a thermal energy tool, which talks about the energy efficiency or energy simulation practice only.
Okay. Gaurav, to answer your question, yes, recorded sessions will be provided to all participants. Okay. Pratyusha also asks, also while inserting a chiller system, do we consider performance curves as well?
Yes, while importing this chiller performance, like for example the capacity, so if chiller curve is available, the curve can be directly implemented. Like there is option for that. Even the fan curve, motor curve, everything can be given as the input to the eQuest.
Okay. Vishal, to answer your question, can we import an AutoCAD in eQuest? Yes, we can import an AutoCAD in eQuest. All right. Okay. Mayank asks, what are the softwares a civil engineer should learn to excel in this field?
So Mayank, this course talks about a particular software, which is eQuest, and about a particular application of the software in the HVAC industry. So I think it's up to you to decide now. If you want to work in this area, then of course this software will be useful. So Donna, let's quickly scan through and take up a few questions. We are running short of time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is a nice question.
Unanswered, so we can kind of address it.
All right, fine. I will just ask the quick questions that can be answered really quickly. All right. So Harsh has already worked on a few eQuest models. He is asking if the course will be touching the detailed design wizard. Jarat?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Details question. Okay. How about all the questions that are pending? All right. Is it okay if we respond to you all via email? Because your information is available and your questions also will be saved. So let's move to that. We have already exceeded by 7 minutes. All right. So Dhruv, may I move to completion?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think what you can do is, for the benefit of the entire group, you can probably create a group and you can answer those questions in that group, so all of them come to know the answers.
Certainly, certainly. All right, I can do that. Okay. All right. So due to time constraints, I must regretfully say that we have reached the end of our session. If you'd like to know more, okay, please send all your queries. If you have more queries than the ones that were submitted, please send it to training@greentree.global. If not, my number is currently on the screen. All right, you all can send it over to that as well. Also, if you want to register for the course that is starting on the 16th, again, you can contact me. My details are presented on the screen. With that, we have now reached the end of this webinar. I'd like to thank our speakers, Mr. Jain, Mr. Bajpai, and Mr. Kali Rajan, for sharing their time and experience with us and for the informative presentation. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all our participants for joining in. I hope this session has been informative for all of you. On behalf of Greentree Global and everyone else, thank you for joining in. Please stay home and stay safe.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you everyone for joining in, and we apologize we've not been able to take all the questions, but we'll get back to you with all the answers max by tomorrow. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you in the course.